Hi, this is Dawn Priolat, and this is the final video in the series of the 3 vows that are keeping you from finding the love that you want. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the third chakra vow. And the third chakra vow, well actually there's more than one, but they can be some of the most harmful vows when it comes to relationships. So here's why. Because I kind of like to think of the third chakra vow as kind of the people pleaser vow, really. And I'm sure you can see how that might affect your relationships in a really negative way. And the vow really can sound something like this. I'm not good enough, so I'm going to be whatever they want me to be. And you learn that within your family of origin because you learn that you have to be a certain way in order to be acceptable. And another way this vow is expressed is the vow to be invisible. So I'm not going to let anyone see me. Real big problem in relationship. So today what I want to tap with you on is one of the vows that this can take on is kind of a vow to, I'm not going to be like you. Let's say, for example, if you were raised within a family where one person expressed their power in a very negative way. Might have been your father, might have been your mother, a step-parent, and this might cause you to take on the vow, you know, that I'm never going to be like you, because you don't want to be that mean, nasty kind of person who's always yelling and screaming and making everybody unhappy, right? So you take on this vow, and it's probably, you know, most people are not conscious of these vows. They usually are completely unconscious until we do the tapping. So although you might have an idea, okay, my dad was like that, he was a rageaholic, okay, so we need to tap on it. So can you see that if you have a parent who was a rageaholic, and you maybe have a hard time ever getting angry with anyone or ever setting a boundary with anyone because you're afraid of actually turning into that. You don't want to be that. So instead you kind of go, oh, what's the use? And then you hold it in and hold it in until one day you finally explode all over the place and end up being the very person you said you never wanted to be. Because that's what happens when you make a vow that I'm not going to be anything like you. What actually ends up happening is, in order to keep this battle going, you end up becoming that person. So I want to do some tapping with you today to help you to loosen this up, so that you can show up in your relationships coming from a place of personal power and show up in a way that you're not going to lose yourself, because you're not going to have that fear of setting a boundary, of saying no when you need to. And you're going to be able to choose, first and foremost, for yourself, knowing that that really is the most loving thing that you can do. So, I want you to think of that person, and this may not apply necessarily to you, but if you didn't have an angry person, think of somebody else who, you know, your mother or your father, and something about them where you just said, I don't want to be anything like you. Okay, and you can actually change the wording of what I'm going to say in this tapping round if you need to. But think of that person, the rest of you can think of that person that mean, angry person, and we're going to do some tapping around that. So just start tapping on any points, or you can follow the points that I'm tapping on. There you are. You're so mean. So angry all the time. And so freaking selfish. Everything's about you, isn't it? Everyone has to walk on eggshells around you. And I am so sick of it. And I made a vow when I was very young that I was never going to be anything like you. I totally judge you. You're mean, you're selfish, and you're so full of anger. You're so full of rage. And I totally judge you. And I'm totally right about this. I should be judging you. Because you are wrong. You are wrong to act that way. You're a bully. Everyone's afraid of you. And I made a vow as a little child that I would never become like you. Which means you're still controlling me. Because if I can't be anything like you, that means I can't allow myself to get angry, ever. Because if I get angry, I would be acting just like you. That means you're still controlling me, and I hate it. I'm just going to honor the vow that I made as a child. I'm just going to honor it and recognize that it's there. Even though I made this vow as a child, it seemed like a logical thing to do at the time. I choose to look consciously at how this has affected my life. Because there are times when I may need to allow myself to get a little bit angry. There are times when I need to own my power. And I haven't been able to do that because of this vow. I'm looking at everything this vow has cost me. All the times I wanted to say no and I couldn't do it. Because of you. I couldn't say no. Even when my life depended on it, I couldn't say no. And I am so angry about that. I am so angry at myself for having made this vow. And I wonder if it will be possible for me to begin to heal this. I wonder if I can begin to heal this today. Because I don't want to be controlled by you anymore. I want to be free of this vow so that I can be free to choose who I want to be. What feels right for me. I've never been able to do that before. Because I've been so busy using my energy to stay in battle with you. And trying so hard not to be you. Which means I can only be the me that isn't anything like you. Which means I'm still allowing you to control me. I'm choosing to let that go today, to the extent that I'm able to. I am choosing to heal this for the good of everyone. I am choosing to be myself, to show up in the world as the person that I truly am. And I'm doing that by letting go of all of these old vows, because they don't serve me and they don't serve the world. I can choose to let this go now. I do choose to let it go now. And take a deep breath. And that was just an example of one of the vows at the third chakra that is affecting your relationships. Now, you may have another scenario. It may, especially if your mother or someone else was too passive, because usually you have an aggressive one and then you've got a passive one as the partnership. So ask yourself, which one am I? Which role am I playing? And usually what happens is you'll end up going back and forth between those two roles, playing your mother and your father, switching back and forth. And it's enough to drive yourself crazy, and it's probably driving the people crazy that you've been in a relationship with. So by tapping on this third chakra vow, we can begin to start the healing process. So I will see you in the next video. This is the last video of this series, but please, if you haven't signed up on my website, please do that. My website is intuitivedawn.com.